Hi everyone, my name is Michael McGrath and I'm currently a first year HBE teacher here at Wavell. This presentation today aims to address the large number of preventable and severe injuries occurring to students that are competing in the school's rugby league excellence and elective programs. I will also be providing research and findings to explain this, and finally, I will propose a curriculum innovation to deplete this number of injuries and improve the students' injury prevention abilities and knowledge, as well as improving their overall stability, flexibility, and mobility. To start this presentation, I would like to draw your attention to an alarming statistic recorded over the 2019 rugby league season at our school. Across all year levels, there were 24 rugby league produced injuries that resulted in students having to miss either one or more of school, training and games, or work. Of these 24, 15 were deemed as preventable injuries, as found through an independent interview conducted with fellow teacher Guy Williams. A preventable injury in rugby league, according to Gabbett and Ryan 2009, is an injury that does not come as a result of another player's actions, but rather as a consequence of the player's own actions. This could come down to poor tackle technique or aggravating a pre-existing injury. However, many of these injuries, roughly 60% according to a survey conducted by Sports Medicine Australia in 2016, come as a direct result of weak, tight or strained muscles, joints, tendons or ligaments, poor falling and landing mechanics, or poor running and jumping technique. This can further be supported by Lee 2020, who stated in a conducted interview that these elements, as well as not having a core basis of stability as a result of poor preparation, can cause significant injury or strain to an athlete while training or playing a contact sport. As many of these students are involved in high-performance programs and are considered genuine athletes, there needs to be evidence of training programs or systems put in place to assist in long-term athletic development, currently of which there is none. Lloyd and Company write that ensuring the youth of all ages and abilities are provided with a strategic plan for the development of their health and physical fitness is also important to maximise physical activity participation rates, reduce the risk of sport and activity related injury, and to ensure long-term health and well-being. Lee also supports this ideology by saying, before we engage in any form of maximal effort exercise, we need to make sure our body is suitably prepared. With this high number of injuries occurring to students, it is not only affecting their ability to play and perform on the field, but it is also negatively impacting their ability to attend and participate in the curriculum-based schoolwork, as well as their ability to focus on the task at hand and be a contributing member of the learning environment, which is ultimately a much larger focal point of their education, as said by Lee 2020. What we do know unequivocally is that not even many students who are involved in a school of excellence continue on at a high performance level. An effective means of reducing the number of preventable injuries to students, and my proposed innovation, would be to implement mandatory prehabilitation and recovery training programs and strategies for the students to partake in before, during, and post-training. Prior to training, students would participate in 15 minutes of stretching, targeting that session's relevant muscles and joints. During training, there would be an increased focus on improving students' jumping, running, landing, and falling mechanics, to strengthen the core muscles and joints for similar scenarios occurring on the field. And finally, students would be included in 10 to 15 minutes of stretching, core-based training, and breathing techniques post-training, all to assist in the recovery and cool-down process. As previously mentioned, several of these injuries are preventable and occur as a result of the player's own actions through weakened body parts or poor technique, meaning implementing such programs is very physiologically based. Lee 2020 recognises this by stating that a long-term stretching program increases the athlete's range of movement, and a prehabilitation program targets the stabilising muscles and cartilages around the joint to ensure that athletes can always find a core base of stability while performing a targeted movement. The aim of this innovation is to decrease the number of preventable injuries happening to your children on the rugby league field in training and in games. Keeping students safe and out of harm's way is always our school's #1 priority, as well as ensuring that they are able to get the most out of their physical and mental education. Giving these students the best possible opportunity to stay fit and well while competing in such a high-performance program is imperative to seeing students succeed during their education, as well as carrying this past their schooling years into their adult lives. Linda 2020 supports this curriculum and policy-based thinking by hypothesising that a common reason for adults not participating in organised physical activity post-school is pre-existing injuries. The anticipated outcome of this proposed innovation is for students to be subject to less preventable injuries whilst playing rugby league. If these students are exposed to a prehabilitation and recovery program from a young age, the objective is for them to not only develop better physically to prevent injuries, but also to be made more aware of the strategies and techniques that can be used to keep them playing at the best level possible. Rodri and Company in 2012 can be quoted saying, "Training strategies designed to reduce the risk of non-contact injuries, such as plyometrics, core strengthening, strength training, and balance and perturbation training, should all be implemented within the strength and conditioning program of high-performance athletes." Implementing these forms of injury prevention and recovery training should anticipate not only a decrease in student injury, but also an increase in their physical activity engagement levels post-school. Should my proposed innovation go ahead as planned, I think we will all be able to see the large benefits it has for the students of Wavell State High. Not only will the number of injuries go down, as will the number of injury-related absences, but students' quality of life and education will improve substantially. Their bodies will be redefined to better handle day-to-day exercises and occurrences, and they will have a much greater range of movement, as well as improved strength and stability. In conjunction with this, they will also have a much greater knowledge of the concepts and principles of their own body and how it works, meaning they will be able to perform their own rehabilitation, stretching and recovery strategies to get the benefits they want based on their knowledge of their unique bodies. Such an innovation, I believe, should be implemented as soon as possible. This planning has already been conducted during term 1 of the school year, while the students have been taking part in pre-season training. While it would have been ideal to implement these strategies into their pre-season program, it will still be a useful and effective means of injury prevention to incorporate prehabilitation and recovery strategies into their seasonal training. Gavitt in 2009 writes that while the majority of training injuries occur in the early stages of the season, the incidences of more common match injuries occur in the latter stages of the season, suggesting that implementing such programs now would still prove very beneficial for the students' long-term athletic development and injury prevention. Term 3 would be used to not only continue these trial programs, but to also begin the review process of interviewing players and teachers based on their observations and experiences with the program, and find statistical findings as to whether or not these programs have in fact decreased the number of preventable injuries to students. At the conclusion of the season in Term 4, a final review will be conducted where the players will have a significant say over whether or not they believe such programs were beneficial or were simply a waste of time and took away from their opportunity to focus on their technique, skill, and strength-based rugby league training. This proposal is very sustainable, as it does not require any additional funding or outside resources, but simply the commitment to injury prevention by both teachers and the students involved. As long as the coaches and teaching staff are willing to work with me together to develop and incorporate these training programs and strategies, and the students are willing to commit to practicing them long term, then this should prove to be very sustainable. Furthermore, there aren't many resources required either, just simply the dedication to my proposal from all stakeholders, including yourselves, my fellow teaching staff members, and the students involved in our rugby league program. With the current practices in place, our students and your children are unfortunately at risk of injury as a direct result of poor preparation, body management and recovery systems and strategies. However, with the new proposed curriculum innovation I have presented here, it is expected that students will see a large decrease in rugby league-induced injuries, as well as improving their attendance, skills, and overall quality of life. It is our role as teachers to ensure our students are in the best care possible while under our supervision, and are participating in high-performance programs such as ours. So it is our duty to ensure they are best equipped to handle these high-performance situations through the appropriate training and preparation. I hope I have gained your support here today, and please feel free to contact me via the email shown on the screen. Thank you for your time.